Welcome to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship, where we keep it real about what it takes to build, grow, and thrive. Here, you'll hear the unfiltered journeys of women entrepreneurs from everywhere. The wins, the setbacks, the lessons, and the behind-the-scenes truths of aligning, starting, and scaling our businesses with purpose. Because let's be real, this road ain't always pretty. From battling self-doubt to juggling responsibilities and facing the pressures to have it all figured out, this hustle can be pretty heavy. That's why this space exists, to fuel you with the motivation, drop strategic gems on the topics that matter most, and remind you you are not in this alone. This is the Woman's Hustle. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. It's your girl, Coach K. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get started, I have to ask, make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded MindsetZ Media YouTube channel. Make sure you are favoriting the Woman's Hustle on your favorite streaming platform so you don't miss these important episodes, especially if you are a woman in business, starting off, have the vision. These conversations are for every single level, and today's is going to be no different. So if you're watching on YouTube, you see that I'm not here alone. So I'm going to allow my guest the honor of introducing herself. Hello.
Okay. So I'm Philippa Gaines, and I help you make sure that your website is working for you and getting results and that you're not wasting money on stuff that doesn't do that.
Man, let me tell y'all something. I'm super excited to dive in with her today because I know there are a lot. As a coach, I have these conversations so often about what websites are for and should you have one, should you not have one, and just those types of things. So we are going to dive into a little bit of that today. So I want to just thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's great.
So as women business owners, we wear every hat. When I first started in business, I wore every single hat. And honestly, it took me a long time to start to delegate those things. But one thing that I did notice when I started versus now is the power of analytics. We tend to just want to run things and say, we got it. But the importance of analytics is something that I realized probably not until really year 3 of my business. Hey, this is the thrills and spills, y'all. I am a transparent book here, but really understanding the power of my analytics, and that really actually shifted the game. So I just want to start off by asking, what do you feel like are some of the most common, hidden profit leaks that you see specifically in businesses?
So I'm really a website person. I'm a website analytics person, so really that's most of what I talk about. But I'm really excited to hear that you're talking about the power of analytics, because the thing is, if you have a website in your business and it plays some sort of a role in your business, which I mean most websites do, right? Then if you're not looking at the analytics, you're just flying blind with everything you're doing, because you actually have no idea what is going on. And a few weeks ago, I literally spoke to somebody so she's an executive coach. She coaches business leaders at quite high fee ranges. And she's got some excellent content on her website, but it's been up there for years. I mean, I think she said it was before COVID that she last had it, really looked at. And she said at this point, it really doesn't make any difference to me. I mean, I don't think anybody goes there. It's really old. I haven't looked at it for ages. It's really not important. And I said, are you sure? And so we looked at her analytics, or I did. And she was getting, I'm not kidding here, she was getting over 500 visitors a week to that website that she thought was completely unimportant.
Right.
Now, okay, she's an executive coach at a high level. Not all of those 500 visitors by a long way are going to be potential clients. However, you never know. Some of them might be. There might be other things that she could offer them at a lower level that, could self-serve or something. But basically right now she's ignoring absolutely all of them because she doesn't know they're there. Right. So seriously, that's what I mean. You just don't know if you're not looking at your numbers.
Yeah. I think that that's so important. And even coming from the emotional standpoint, because come on now, ladies, we know we try to run our businesses off of emotion and, trying to carry the barrier and the weight, all that. I love that you said what she said. I don't think it's that important. We want to lead with intuition, and it's great from a personal perspective. We be on point with a lot of things. However, I had to learn from a business perspective, my intuition is not always there because one, I'm doing things that I've never done before as a business owner. So my intuition might be guiding me with the energy of people that I may be around. But when it comes to building and scaling, no, the intuition is not. I know that I need assistance. I know that I need help. And I think that sometimes that's where we come in and underserve so much. What do you feel like the signs are when it comes to website that a business is unintentionally ignoring a potential profitable audience?
Well, assuming they have analytics, that's point number one,
Right.
obviously, as I've been saying.
Absolutely.
And, you can get Google Analytics on your site, which is free. You can get, even if you have a WordPress site and you have very basic WordPress analytics. Now, I don't recommend that if you actually want to get into serious looking at your site, but even basic stuff can help you. But there are, I actually have a free offer on mostly I use my LinkedIn
Oh,
page to
nice.
promote myself right now. But, there are certain things that I just see again and again. And I actually do have a free, I called it my inside outside leak check,
Oh,
which
well, we'll
is
make sure that you guys get access to that, you guys. So,
it's a 15-minute call with me just to take a look at your website from the outside. So now I don't see your analytics yet, right?
right,
But
right.
just saying from my experience, if I see this, this, and this, those are places where you can often just be leaking
Hmm.
visitors or leaking the opportunity to convert your visitors into helping them or doing what you want them to do. And a couple of really great examples. These days we see a lot of very long pages, especially with mobile phones, because people prefer to be able to swipe rather than scroll,
Right.
rather than click on stuff. In addition to something like Google Analytics, which is lots of numbers, you can also get tools like, I use it in conjunction with a tool called Clarity, which is from Microsoft, which is
Mm,
also free. And what that does is screen recordings and heat maps. So that means you can actually watch visitors as they move through your website and exactly what they do, exactly where they go, exactly how they move their mouse, exactly what they click on. And that is amazingly revealing. But one of the things that a heat map or a screen recording will show you is how far down a long page people go. And honestly, you can watch them just dropping off. Below
right.
what we call the fold, which is the first screenfall that they can see, you can already be losing 25, 50% of your visitors. It's
Mm,
really amazing. And what does that mean? It means that if you've got really important content further down on the page, a good proportion of your visitors are never going to see that content. So if that's where your principal offer is, you're already shooting yourself in the foot
yeah.
because all these people aren't seeing it.
Yeah.
And the only way you can know that is by looking at some sort of analytical tool, right? Whether it's
Right.
a heat map or, you know, how many people saw this page or whatever, right?
Yeah, I love that, and I want y'all to listen to what she said because two of the gems that she just dropped were free resources, right? But sometimes we will just get so caught up in having to invest, and I am big on investing. Y'all know I talk about it often. Investment has to be made in order to scale a business. It's just the reality. But if you're somebody that is just looking for your analytics or looking for things, Google Analytics has been a lifesaver for me. I love Google in so many ways, but because all of I utilize Google, I utilize the things, but I'm learning it still. All of the other tools, especially now in the age of AI and all of the things that are coming along, there are so many amazing tools that are coming, not just from Google, but from other ones. I use Microsoft as well, so I didn't even know about Clarity. So that's write that down. But, I want us to be real with ourselves and just know that you don't know everything. And I want to really touch on product-based business owners as well because websites are definitely important when it comes to product-based business owners. I'm a service-based business owner, but I do have some products. But for specific product-based business owners, do you think there's like different levels of analytics they should be looking at? And also when it comes to even like product continuation, product cancellation, like what are some of the tips that you would suggest for someone that does have a full product based business?
So, I mean, obviously, you can do things like look at which products people check out. As I don't mean check out as in sell, but look at
Right.
the specific product description. But you have to think through all the nuances of this. So, for example, if you've got a product that nobody goes to that individual product page, before you say, "Oh, nobody's interested in this product anymore," think about any other reasons why that could be happening. So, for example, I don't know, they can't find it. It's not obvious to them. Like, do you have a site search? Is your site search really good and is it really helpful? Right. So
Yeah.
people can find the things that they want to find. It was interesting. A while ago, I actually got a call from a fairly large e-commerce store in South America. And they had a very interesting question, which was, look, we're trying to sell these, I think it was sandals. I mean, it was a consumer clothing and apparel and shoes and everything
Right.
store, quite well known. And so we've got these sandals. They don't sell on our website. They sell fine in our physical stores. So we
Mhm.
know it's not the product. So it must be something about the website that they're not selling in anything like the same numbers. Why is that? So this kind of thing is to me is quite interesting. This goes way beyond the how many visitors and how many page views and all of that. But the thing I think is interesting is and honestly, this is potentially where AI I don't think is yet helping out. I mean, if you log into your Google Analytics, there will be an AI assistant that says, "Oh,
Right.
look, you got this more visitors this week," and it's very good at telling you basic stuff. So if you're just starting out, it can be very helpful because it will give you some highlights. I don't think yet it's there in terms of the so what.
Mhm.
What does it actually mean? How do I diagnose this? I think hopefully we still need people like me to do that,
That part.
or
I
potentially
agree.
people like anybody who's more of an expert and can think about what's going on. But so just really looking at for products, what if the product isn't selling, what's getting in the way? And is it that people aren't finding it? Is it that something about your product description just isn't floating their boat, right? And again, with a screen recording, you can look at things like, where do they click? Do they click on the image because they want to see different views of it, for
Right.
example, or something like that? And you don't provide that, right? So it's about that. It's about thinking like, if this thing isn't selling the way we think it should, what could be the problem? And then if all that what checks out, what happens in your checkout process? Is there something there that's really putting people off? And again, with a tool like Clarity, you can actually watch people filling in your forms. Now,
Mm.
obviously, you can't see. I mean, it masks what they actually
Right.
type, obviously, for privacy reasons. But you
Absolutely.
can see which forms they're in, which part of the form they're in, like which field are they at, right? And are they actively typing in that field? So here's
Mm.
another story. This is actually a nonprofit that I worked with in New York, but they had a sign up for their annual massive fundraiser. And this was absolutely bizarre because I was literally watching Clarity sessions for this, and somebody would fill in the form, and you can watch them going down the form and filling it all in, and everything looked absolutely fine. And then they click continue, and it doesn't work. It
Mm.
says you've got a problem. And I couldn't quite see whether there were any helpful error messages or not, but the
Right.
continue was not letting me continue because clearly there was something still wrong. What's
Mhm.
wrong? I don't know. I watched them fill in the form. It looked fine. And then I finally watched somebody who went back up the form. And for some reason, in the address area, the address had 2 lines. And somewhere, how they'd got this logic that said both lines of the address have to be
Had to
filled
be
in. And I don't know if there was an error message because sometimes, you can't quite exactly see what's
right.
on the person's screen.
Yeah.
But what I watched this person do was cut whatever they'd put into line 1 and put the second half into
It
line 2, and then it worked.
it worked. Oh, wow.
Now, this nonprofit would never have known without us looking at that, how many people just got frustrated and went, "I can't imagine what I'm doing wrong, and I'm just out of here."
I'm just done.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And
That
the
is crazy.
AI the
Yeah.
AI assistant, just to be this is what I'm saying about the AI. The AI was
Yeah.
saying, obviously people are trying and something's going wrong, but it couldn't figure out what was going wrong.
Couldn't figure out where and why. And I think that's
Yeah.
important to understand because there should be, and I'm not saying that they didn't, take into going through the motions, but like if you've got some type of new page that you're launching or new form or something, I recommend, I actually send it to 3 different people. I send it to my mentor, like, hey, can you go through the whole process for me? You know, whether I have my person that actually has helped me with my website. Hey, I need you to look, you need to be finding somebody that actually takes it through, because what happens if you're doing it as an admin, you may not see the things that need to be seen because it's giving you the admin showing. So I highly recommend, website wise, whether you just have a landing page, people, you don't have to have a full scale website. We're speaking along just the regular landing pages, anything that's taking you from a link that's taking somebody to something that you're promoting and advertising. You need to make sure that there is something that is being done to make sure that you're able to go through and complete that successfully. That is crazy. And like, I agree with you, because like some forms, it'll tell you that there's an error, but it won't tell you what the error is. It'll
Right.
just say,
Right.
please fix the error. And it's like, where's the error at? It doesn't show you. So I think that those small things are super important to
And actually,
understand.
I think you made a great point there, by the way, which is, and I've seen this again and again in my consulting practice, as the business owner, you get very close to your own stuff. Of course you do.
Yep. Yep.
And the number of times I've said to somebody, this website, you know, what you're supposed to do here is not obvious. And the business owner will say, of course it's obvious. You just do that, that, and that, right? And that's because you're so used to it, you
Right.
actually lose the ability to realize that people can't figure it out. So, as you said, giving it to people who don't know, and I mean, this is a great sort of basic usability test, right?
Yeah.
Just if you change your website, ask somebody, hey, complete this task, and don't give them any hints, and see if they can do it, and where
Yep.
they get stuck, and where they're starting to say, I don't know quite what this means, and I can't find how to do, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I want to ask you, I know I work with women specifically, but I know you have a very range. You have served over 5,000 businesses, and I think that is just phenomenal. But I want to ask you, from a woman's perspective, what do you believe that every woman should stop doing when it comes to their website? I'm kind of curious on your insight on that.
Wow. That's a really kind of, I don't know. That's, I
We're
mean,
raw and uncut over here, so please
yeah, no, but I
let us
don't know
know,
that.
because we need to hear it. I feel like we need to hear it.
I mean, lots of women are different. I mean, women
Yeah,
are as different as guys are in some ways, right? I mean, one of the things that I do know that I'm very aware of is that there are a whole lot more men in this field that I'm in
right.
than women. And especially when you get higher up the food chain. And I know that the number of times as a speaker, the reason I've worked with 5,000 more websites is because I've done a lot of speaking. It's not that I've individually, because that would be an awful lot of work.
Woo! Wait, but we love it.
um,
We'll claim it though.
but well, yeah, but I've done a lot of speaking and a lot
Yeah.
of teaching, and the number of times I've walked into a room, like I used to do CEO roundtables, and the number of times you walk into a room and it's all guys, and you're really aware as a woman that, and and I think you do have to prove yourself
Yeah. Oh,
slightly more than
absolutely.
a guy would if they were walking into
Absolutely.
that same room. And I don't think the guys sitting around the table have any idea about that. They don't know they're doing it.
No.
But of course, if one of them walked into a room that was all women sitting around the table, they'd be really aware of it. Um, so, I mean, honestly, it's still amazing. I remember going into one CEO group, and it was literally all male. They actually had a rule that no women were allowed. And it was a private group. It wasn't illegal. And when I said to the guy in charge, why, he said, well, women gossip and they go to the restroom and they all talk amongst themselves and it's not good. And I mean, it was literally when I used to do these CEO groups, I used to say to them, why don't you invite the person in charge of your website to come to listen to my part of the program? Because they may well understand some of what I'm saying better than you do. And they'll be able to, together you can put your heads together and
Right.
figure out. So this one guy, his wife was in charge of his website. And he said, can I bring my wife? And of course I was like, fine, and then
Absolutely.
the chair of this group said, no, you can't, because she's a woman. And he brought her anyway.
Mm.
And he was asked to leave the group. I couldn't believe it. It was
Oh
absolutely
my
incredible.
God.
So, that stuff
Wow.
is still out there. It's unbelievable. It's amazing to still say this in 2026 or wherever we are, but, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. Ladies, I'll say this, and this is something that I had to learn. Just because it looks pretty to you doesn't mean it should be what your website looks like. Make sure that you are, when I first had my website, it was a bunch of 50,000 different colors. It was bright, it was loud, 1,000 fonts. Make sure that you are looking professional, because if I go to your site now, even if you're just starting, there's too many tools and resources now that is going to allow you to be able to polish it up a little bit. So just because it looks pretty to you doesn't mean that it should be what your website should be.
Right,
Okay.
right. And
So
actually, that's a really good point. And another thing I would add to that is don't get too cute.
yeah,
In the sense that I see a lot of times people have their pet names for their products or their services. And the problem is that you understand what it is, but the visitor doesn't if they don't know who you are.
right,
And so if you have some sort of cute thing on your navigation that's the name of a product, if I don't know what it is, I probably won't click on it because
right.
I don't know that's what I'm actually looking for.
There it is.
And if you have too much cute stuff going on your homepage, and I come there and I've never seen your business before. And what's on my mind is, why am I here? And can you help me? And do I
Right,
care?
right.
And as we all know, if I don't care, I'm going to be out there pretty quickly.
Out of there. Quick and fast, y'all.
Right. So if you've got a load of stuff that's just confusing to me, it's going to kill it. You want a really quick, hello, this is who I am. This is how I can help you.
Yep. I love it. I love it. I appreciate that. Before we get ready to get out of here, let us know if someone was to come to work with you, like let us know a little bit of specifics as far as what type of things that you look for when it comes to a good client for you.
Actually, my favorite client. So I actually had a book that came out last summer. It's called Website Wealth, a business leader's guide to driving real value from your analytics. And it sounds really scary, but it's not, because it's all in English, just like we've been talking here.
Right.
No, there are absolutely no charts or graphs in the whole book, but it's really a lot of stories and a lot of things to think about for a business owner, with examples that show you the kinds of things. So we've been talking about places where you lose traffic or you're wasting time, but once you get that sorted, you can go beyond that and actually get ideas for new products or services or markets, which I've also got stories in there
Nice.
in my book about doing that. So it's a book for business owners about how to think. And it was all inspired by one of my clients who didn't want, 50 pages of analytics reports and thousands of dashboards. What he wanted, he said to me, Philippa, just tell me what I need to know to run my business better. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Just tell me what I need to know to run my business better. It's the question. That's it.
That's
right?
it.
Don't confuse me with a load of stuff. just, give me the bottom line. And I love that.
Yeah.
So I kind of wrote the book to help business owners help me, because I'm not the expert in your business. You are, right? I often get asked, have you ever worked in this industry before? And I think that's a bad question, or it's an irrelevant question, in the sense that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because actually applying the analytics is a methodology that works pretty much whatever industry you're in. The point is, for the nuances of the industry, that does matter. You need to tell me that, because you're always going to understand that better than me.
Right.
And if we put our heads together, and you're the expert in your business and I'm the analytics person, we can do something.
Ooh, tell them again. I love it. I love it. Listen, I tell y'all at the end of every episode, you cannot do this journey alone. You need to make sure that you have the correct resources, the correct people, the tribes, the communities, the mentors, the coaches, the consultants. And I'm not saying everything has to be done at once, but make sure that you have a strategic plan within your ecosystem that is going to allow you to eventually bring these people on if you are wanting to scale your business. All right. Please let my listeners know where they can find you at, websites, socials, all that good stuff.
So honestly, I'm mostly on LinkedIn these days, where I am honestly the only person in the whole world with my name, as far as I know. So you can find me quite easily. You can find my book there, and you can also find the free offer that I mentioned, where you can have 15 minutes on the phone with me and just take a look at your site and see where there might be some prospective issues.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Check her website out, learn more about her services, and hey, if it's a fit, make it do what it do, you guys. It's time for us to elevate and upgrade our business, our life, and just our purpose overall. All right. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you so much for dropping some much needed gems to the Women's Hustle community. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, this is what it's about. We're sharing our thrills and spills, but we're also sharing those strategic insight and tools to help us elevate, not just as a business owner, but as a woman. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Till next time.